Video games aren't always just fun and giggles. Some of them are so scary they can make you scream in sheer terror. Horrible monsters that suddenly appear in front of you, haunted houses, and a soundtrack that makes your skin crawl are just some of the ingredients that make a horror game worth its money. Since the market is chock full of pretty good horror games, we thought you'd very much appreciate a list with 10 of the most intense titles that can cause post-traumatic stress disorder, especially for the faint-hearted. Alan Wake is not necessarily considered a scary game if you're thinking about extreme gore and scabrous enemies who want to rip your head off. It rather affects you at a deeper subconscious level. Structured like a thriller movie, this horror game has you wander into the night in a town that has a strong resemblance to the one in Twin Peaks. Equipped with a mere pistol and a flashlight, you'll have some of your best enemy encounters, filled with sheer adrenaline and a unique sense of danger that will haunt you forever. Alma is for sure the scariest little girl you'll ever meet in a video game, her presence simply making you feel uneasy and you'll find it difficult to even continue playing. Besides these impromptu apparitions, you'll also have to deal with some of the most skin-crawling enemies ever found in a horror game, and the fact that they appear when you're feeling all high and mighty makes them even worse. For sure, F.e.a.r is the game that made many gamers scream in terror in the middle of the night. Being stranded on a ruined ship, the engineer Isaac Clarke finds himself surrounded by dreadful monsters that were once part of the crew. When an alien artifact invaded their bodies and corrupted everything within, they were transformed into hideous beings, each looking more nauseating than the next. The limits that others have to face as a player are the main element that contributes to the overall horrific atmosphere of Dead Space, making you feel frustratingly vulnerable and hopeless. SOMA is the kind of horror game that makes you doubt everything you see. Getting deep into your head, this daunting title has the unique power of confusing you with every new room you explore and each blood-curdling sound you hear. The highly atmospheric gameplay it features is certainly going to affect you on a subconscious level. You're going to have nightmares with the horrible things you've seen for days or even weeks after playing this game. The newest Outlast title has the player take on the role of a journalist who's separated from his wife due to a helicopter crash and must travel through a village inhabited by a sect that believes the end of days is nigh. Exactly like the previous title of the series, you're unable to fight, hiding, running, and jumping being the only practical defense you have. The iconic camcorder is once again the only tool at your disposal that helps you see in the dark, making the whole gameplay experience even more petrifying. The fact that the newest Resident Evil title can be played using a virtual reality headset cranks up the horror to a never-before-seen and felt intensity. The Baker family is the most twisted and insane group of people you could ever meet, and we're sure you're familiar with the infamous dinner scene that features them as protagonists. Resident Evil 7 has a gameplay that emphasizes horror and exploration over action, unlike the previous titles of the franchise, where you are encouraged to directly fight enemies. The desolate ship you have to explore in search of a safe place makes for a deeply haunting experience, especially knowing that all of your movements are potentially being watched by the Xenomorph. Alien Isolation is one of the greatest horror titles ever created, its tense atmosphere making you hold your breath while you avoid detection, or scream in pain when you fail to reach safety. This is definitely one of those games that's painfully remembered by many gamers who thought they've seen it all when it comes to horror titles. Short for Playable Teaser, this first-person psychological horror video game was meant to be an interactive prologue to the game that never happened, Silent Hills. Directed and designed by Hideo Kojima, in collaboration with film director Guillermo del Toro, PT offers some of the most nerve-wracking experiences ever. Based on the petrifying feeling of the unknown, this horror title has you go in circles through a haunted hallway, each time not knowing what you'll find behind the next corner. Silent Hill 2 is the most meaningful combination of a deeply psychological storyline and distressing monster encounters that you could ever come across in a horror video game. The fact that James is struggling so much to fight off his inner demons makes the entire gameplay take a more emotional turn, greatly adding to the horrific sceneries found in the small city of Silent Hill. The gameplay you'll be experiencing while wandering to this deeply disquieting game will make you feel perturbed for a long time after you're finished playing. Few games are as dark and twisted as AMNESIA: The Dark Descent. The many reaction videos you can find on YouTube are living proof of its insanely intense gameplay and heart-stopping jump scares. The fact that you have no means of defending yourself from the monsters that are lurking in the shadows is definitely the most frustratingly terrifying feeling you could ever experience in a video game. Playing Amnesia, you're going to find out that it's not only your in-game character's sanity that will be gradually diminishing as the game moves forward. This was our list diving into some pretty terrifying video games, and we hope you've enjoyed our video. If you did, please press that like button, as we do appreciate it and it does help us immensely. We often ask our audience for suggestions to compile these lists. If you'd like to contribute, please follow Frag Hero on Facebook. If you played other games that gave you nightmares, please mention them in the comments below, because we do try to read pretty much everything. Now would also be a good time to encourage you to subscribe, because we upload new videos all the time. Subscribing will keep you up to date with all of our latest stuff. You can also check out fraghero.com for more gaming related articles. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.